Once the most powerful man in the known world, Marcus Aurelius sought to live a life rooted in virtue, guided by Stoic ideals. Unlike many other Roman emperors, he avoided indulging in the excesses that came with his position, excesses like intoxication, cruelty, and idle entertainment. Instead, Marcus believed he had a duty given by fortune, to serve humanity. To fulfill this duty, he knew he had to distance himself from distractions unworthy of his concern. And there were many. One of the key ideas in Stoicism is the division between what we can and cannot control, a distinction Epictetus makes clear in the Enchiridion. Most things beyond our actions are not within our control. Does this mean we must withdraw from the world entirely? Not quite. The Stoics encouraged us to remain engaged, but with clarity about our limitations. When we forget this, we often burden ourselves unnecessarily. Much of our pain arises when we attach ourselves to things beyond our influence, giving them the power to disturb us. In doing so, we become like puppets, pulled by strings we handed over willingly. We then blame others for our suffering, ignoring our role in granting them power. But if we stop letting these things matter so much, their influence fades, and with it, our distress. Marcus Aurelius found peace in this idea. It helped him manage the burdens of empire. For Epictetus, it was the essence of freedom. For some, it's a way to focus on meaningful goals. For others, it's a key to serenity. So when life starts to hurt, we must ask, what are we caring too much about? And how can we let go? This video is a reflection, a creative interpretation, of Marcus Aurelius' philosophy on how to care less about what doesn't deserve our concern. You'll also find more insights like this in Stoicism for inner peace. In his meditations, Marcus repeatedly distinguishes between the future, the past, and the present, each a source of misplaced concern. For clarity, we'll explore his thinking in these 3 areas, beginning with the future. Seneca once wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality, pointing out how our thoughts often become the source of our pain. When it comes to the future, our minds create endless possibilities, most of which never happen. We invent scenarios and obsess over potential outcomes, dreading the uncertainty of what lies ahead. Sometimes, what we fear comes true, but more often, life surprises us. A person could spend decades planning for retirement, only to face a tragic diagnosis days before it begins. This unpredictability leads many to constant anxiety. Anything could happen, the best, but also the worst. And while these scenarios are possible, they don't exist now. They live only in our minds. The future troubles us because we think about it, because we give shape to something that, in reality, doesn't yet exist. Marcus Aurelius observed that only the present can weigh on us. The future cannot, because it's not here. What causes pain is not the future itself, but how we handle the thought of it now. Worrying makes us suffer twice, once in imagination, once in reality. So, what guidance does Marcus offer for this? He wrote, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." In other words, if we can handle today, we'll be ready for tomorrow. We don't need to imagine every disaster. Just face what's in front of us now, and trust in our ability to respond. The past. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself how quickly everything fades. Time moves swiftly, carrying all things into the abyss of the past. Like the future, the past lies outside our reach. We can't touch it, can't change it. It's over. As Marcus said, remember that man lives only in the present, in this fleeting instant. All the rest of his life is either past and gone, or not yet revealed. Yet, despite the shortness of life, we often obsess over what's already gone. Replay moments in our minds, sometimes reliving pain or regret. But Marcus knew, the past is indifferent now. We can't engage with it. It's unchangeable and often unreliable, shaped by memory, perspective, and flawed recollection. That doesn't mean the past has no value. We can learn from it, yes, but to dwell on it as if we could rewrite it is a futile effort. I wish I had done things differently, we often say, but we're wishing for the impossible. Such thoughts produce desires that can never be satisfied. Instead, Marcus focused on how we respond to the past. He knew we couldn't control what happened, but we could control how we relate to it. He wrote, "It's unfortunate that this has happened. It's fortunate that this has happened and I've remained unharmed by it. What matters is not what happened, but our response to it. Did it break us, or did it strengthen us?" In this, we find true Stoic strength. Interestingly, Marcus didn't ignore the past altogether. He saw value in studying its rhythms, recognizing patterns that repeat over time. In this way, he used the past not as a burden, but as a guide. Still, he kept his focus on the present, where he could actually make choices and take action. The present of all the time we experience, the present is the only part truly ours. Marcus Aurelius wrote often about this narrow slice of time, the one moment we inhabit. From here, we can only peer into the past or imagine the future. So why waste our energy on what's not within our grasp? Marcus urged himself to focus on what he could control, this moment, this breath, this thought. But even here, many of us suffer. We get angry, upset, or overwhelmed by what's happening now, especially when it's not what we wanted. Yet, as Marcus emphasized, resisting what's beyond our power is pointless. He compared this resistance to pigs squealing at sacrifice, a noisy struggle against the inevitable. We cannot stop the aging of our bodies, the chaos of war, or the pain of loss. We cannot force life to fulfill our every wish. And yet, we fight these facts, making the present a battlefield. Ironically, we may also cling to the present, afraid to lose what we cherish, anxious to hold on. Either way, we suffer. We forget that our strength lies not in external things, but in our inner capacity to choose, to reason, and to act. Marcus called nature our master. When we reject its flow, we become fugitives from reality. But when we accept it, embrace it, we free ourselves to act wisely. In Meditations, Book 7, he offers advice. Treat what you don't have as non-existent. Look at what you have, and think how much you'd crave them if you didn't. But don't overvalue them, to the point where losing them would upset you. Gratitude, yes, but not attachment. This is balance. Even when facing great hardship, Marcus believed we should not complain or despair. Difficulties are chances to practice virtue, to apply philosophy. True strength isn't about how fortunate our circumstances are, it's about how we meet what life brings. He wrote, "To me, the present is a chance for the exercise of rational virtue. Both treat whatever happens as wholly natural, not novel or hard to deal with, but familiar and easily handled." Thank you for watching.